We are back with another weekly breakdown. In this video, I'm going to go over every single trade that I took this week with my swing trading strategy. Those of you guys who follow me, you know what it's called, ride the wave. You know how I trade pretty much. So I'm going to go through the setups that I looked at, that I traded, that I thought about trading for this week. First of all, there was only one real trade that actually happened from start to finish, and that was on NZD CAD. That was a losing trade, but after our very long winning streak, it was bound to happen at some point. And I'm actually happy with how it happened because I'm going to explain some of the reasons why I'm actually kind of happy about it right now. This was a trade that I held for about 2 days. You see here almost 48 hours. I went long on NZD CAD. And the reason why I went long was because there was a bullish structure. Now this right here, I think I had something drawn up here from before. We're gonna take this off so we can just focus on what's happening right now or what was happening this past week. So I'm making this video right now, Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna post it immediately. Every single week, I'm starting to kind of just do a weekly analysis. This is like the 11th week in a row of me doing this. So if you guys are liking these type of videos, the purpose of this is to actually show you something that's more realistic, show you what it actually looks like to have ideas, to not execute every single one, and to not win every single one. This is going to happen at times, but our profit factor in the past 2 months is still very nice. It's actually in the past almost 3 months, but 2.5 to be exact. I think I started right at the beginning of June, around like June 2nd is when I started to look for trades, or June 3rd. And right now it's mid-August. So from the beginning of June to mid-August. Profit factor is still above a 5. Anything above a 5 is really good. And if you can maintain that in the long run, I mean, you can see here the risk to reward 1 to 3, which is actually very high for me. I would normally average like a 1.225 or 2.6. Right now we're at a 3. And I've been scaling up my profits and scaling up my risks as well. Let's talk about this trade real quick and why I'm actually not mad about it. I'm not very frustrated that this was a losing trade. So we had a strong breakout with a candle on Thursday of the previous week. And that told me that we were most likely going to continue to go bullish. Then we had a retest of the zone, 0.82. I want you to notice how this is a round level. It's a psychological level. It's a very nice area where the market should bounce and should most likely, or most of the time, have a nice bullish reaction off of there. So that's what I was expecting. As you see, I drew this line right around this mid price, mid from the top of this move to the bottom of where I was looking to enter. That's where I was going to go break even. And once I would have gone break even at that point, or at least reduce my risk to a very small stop loss, this would have been an excellent trade. And at that point, regardless of whatever happens, let's say it goes down, I don't lose anything. But if it goes up, I make 3 times my risk, which, as you guys have seen, we are now risking 7K per trade. So we could have made a pretty nice profit on this trade, but we didn't get a reaction off of the entry. So there was no way I could have managed this properly. Now, once we started to consistently trade below support and consistently trade below the EMA, that is when I wasn't as confident on this trade anymore. And by the way, the risk to reward is supposed to be higher. I'm not sure. I think I had maybe a higher TP. It was supposed to be closer to like a 2.5. So actually not a 1 to 3. But this could have been a very nice trade. The second we started going bearish and we started to consistently trade bearish, keep in mind, I took it on Tuesday. 2 days later is when I closed out. I don't want any of you guys to watch this video and then think, okay, the second that my trade goes into a little bit of drawdown, I'm going to close out. No, that is not what I'm talking about. We consistently had a bearish structure. And before entering, I actually sent in my Synergy group, I mentioned something that was kind of alarming, but I still took the trade regardless, which was there was a very consistent pattern in the way that this market was going down. And I was like, oh, damn, if that's so consistent, it might actually continue for a bit longer, which is exactly what happened. So sometimes you do have to trust your intuition a bit, But regardless, this trade had other factors in play. Now, one of the confluences that weren't present, which I think from now on I'm going to put even more importance on, is the EMA. Price was below my 50 moving average, and that's not the best sign. That is not the best sign. So could have done that better. Could have done that a lot better. But I entered at a psychological level with a nice, strong bullish market. If you zoom out, this had been consistently making higher highs and higher lows. We had a reaction at our entry. That's already 3 confluences. And we had a nice daily structure where we had broken above highs to the left. So that's already 4 confluences for me taking this trade. Now, and the Fibonacci as well. That's the 5th confluence. So we had 5 out of 6 confluences. The last one that I didn't have was the EMA. If the EMA would have been below there, I think the probability would have been even better. But we were kind of fighting against the EMA. So very good lesson here. The lesson is accept the loss because it's going to happen eventually. It's just numbers. It's going to happen. And number 2, possibly put more importance onto the EMA. Now, let me talk about another trade. I actually entered in recently EUR AUD. And I'm very excited to see how Sunday night and Monday morning open up. Right now it's the weekend, so the market is closed. We're going to see how this sets up. But I'm going to sell on EUR AUD. So I guess we'll see this together, how it plays out over the week. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I think we have a bearish structure. We have lower highs. This time we actually have the EMA in our favor. That was one of the things that I liked most about the trade. We have the Fibonacci 60%, right between the 50 and 62%. This is a very textbook trade. All we need is a strong break below psychological level 1.63, and from there, we are good. That is the only 2 trades I executed this week, mid-August. I almost said June. we went back in time. I'm in EUR AUD right now, have that target down here, but I don't really care about the target. What I care about is getting to the point where I can reduce my risk. That is the most important part. And instead of this continue to consolidate, I want to see it actually have a push down. Now, some of the markets that I was looking at that I didn't end up taking, with good reason, by the way, was AUD JPY short at 112.250. This could have been a short, but I decided not to enter, and it was a very smart decision. When I've seen big movements like this that occur because of some type of fundamental news, especially this one, which was a Japanese intervention news that they were going to, affect the currency, a lot of the times you're going to get a full retracement all the way back up. So I kind of let this one alone. And plus, it was so bullish that we didn't have enough evidence that we were going to go down. Like, some people were shorting here. There was no evidence to short there. Once again, you're just trying to catch the top. You're chasing a trade instead of taking a quality trade. That's the name of my strategy, ride the wave. Wait for it to actually start going where you think it's going to go. It's kind of like real estate investors. There was a time where, real estate went down a lot and people started buying immediately once it was at the bottom. Those people, they had to wait. In certain financial crises, depends on which one you're looking at, they had to wait sometimes 5 years to recover the downward move that happened because they bought all the way at the bottom and then it stayed at the bottom for a very long time before finally starting to go higher and higher. So a good strategy, whether you're investing in real estate, whether you're investing in stocks, or whether you're trading currencies, is to let the asset start going in your direction first, at least 10%, 20%, wait for a couple higher lows, and then hop in the wave and then take the momentum higher. Because now you have evidence that the market is going to go in that direction. Any other paper trades? Yeah, there was a paper trade on CAD CHF. This one would have been insane. It would have been so nice. I was waiting for a pullback. I didn't get it. So I didn't really catch any bullish moves here. And then USD CAD never pulled back to the area at which I wanted to go short. Otherwise, it would have been a great sell. So I just want to leave you guys with one more thing. Notice how I was risking 7K on this, but I only lost 4,700. That is proper risk management. You can't always have this, but sometimes you have the chance to reduce your loss. And that's exactly what I did here. And as you see, I would have had a full stop loss. So I'm pretty happy about that. For me, this is a win in the sense that I did the right choice. I did everything in my power correctly. That is what matters. I did my analysis. I made my correct decision for entering. Once I got the reaction, I made the right decision of closing out. So why would I be mad that the market, which I literally have no control over what the market does, decided to go down? Why would I get frustrated over that? I'm not frustrated about that whatsoever. And I think that's the mindset that most traders should use. But anyways, it's going to be a pretty short video here today. Just took NZD CAD and now just recently entered in on EUR AUD. Let's see how the rest of the week goes. Overall, the challenge is going very nice and we are going good. So let me know in the comments if you want to keep seeing these videos even after I hit the 100K challenge, which I'm pretty sure we're going to hit considering we're so close to it. And at that point, I guess I'll just make these videos to just break down my trades in general. If you do want to see that, let me know below and I will see you in the next one.